I've been turning multi-skilled professionals into personal brand geniuses without quitting their day jobs. Do you want to transform your online presence with just 5 steps starting now? Hi, I'm Dio Samuel. Since 2014, I've been helping professionals at various stages in their careers craft personal brands that open doors to more opportunities in life and business. Over the years, I've distilled my approach and experience into 5 critical steps for building a personal brand while maintaining a full-time job. To me, personal branding is more than just a buzzword. It's the art of influencing other people through what you do, whether at work or outside of work. Now, if done well, it actually shapes your professional narrative and invites more opportunities and income for you. Now, based on my experience as a brand strategist for the past 20 years thereabout, I've learned that there are 3 kinds of branding. Number 1 is provider branding, which is where a company, organization, or entity that provides certain kind of goods or products actually create a brand. Second type is product branding, where you're taking the service or product from that entity and then branding it so that it can stand out in the marketplace. The third is personal branding, which is taking a human-first approach by having a face to the product or the service, or even the provider. Now, I talk about this in another video that you can find somewhere at the top of my screen here. Now, let me try and define what personal brand or even personal branding is so that it's clear to your mind. Now, a personal brand is a widely held perception about you based on your experience, expertise, competence, actions, and achievements within your community, your industry, or the marketplace at large. Personal branding, on the other hand, is what you do, the actions you take, what you build to establish that perception. Now that I've explained that, here are the 5 steps to actually get you started. Number 1, clarify. Here is a sketch on my screen here to help you visualize what I mean by clarify. Now, if you look at this sketch carefully, you realize that clarity in personal branding means understanding your why, your wow, your wisdom, and your wit. All these elements that make you stand out. The initial step in gaining clarity on your personal brand is understanding your motivation for building one. Then, beaming that light on what excites you, what interest or multiple interests you may have. Then the next thing is your stack of talent, skills, experience, education, expertise, and so on. The 4th component is your wit, which is your story, your perspective, and somehow even your point of view. Now, from combining all these 4, what you build is a core message that helps you transition into any market, any field, whenever you find yourself bored or trapped in any particular niche. And that's something that I've found over the years that even myself, I've gone from one niche to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other. I've even gone from one industry to the other, simply because I have this core message clearly defined in my mind, and I'm not even in any doubt about that. So whether you love your job or you are seeking a creative outlet, a personal brand providing bound opportunities or create leverage and make you an asset, an irreplaceable asset in your job. Now, this step, this clarify, is the most important step, and it requires a bit of thinking time. So take that time to actually do that. Now, second step, which is create. The second step is to focus on establishing your digital presence and platforms if you don't already have one or 2. Rather than worrying about visual identity like logos, colors, and the like, your point of view is more critical at this stage because you are creating. So your point of view is how you are different from everyone else. Your goal is not to find what makes you better, but based on what you have clarified in step 1, you want to work more on defining what makes you different. Key actions you should be considering here is, first of all, secure your name as a domain name if possible. Also secure your name on all platforms as soon as possible. Have your name.com, for example, like diasamuel.com, which you can actually go right now if you want to. Now, if you want to get started with that, you can check the link in the description. I have a link to where you can actually get started for very, very small price. Now, choose your primary platforms. Make it just 1 or 2. Don't scatter your energy everywhere. This year, my focus is on X, formerly known as Twitter, email, and YouTube. And all other platforms are on hold. I don't even have time for them right now, simply because I also have a full-time job. So I'm teaching you from what I am doing myself. Now, having done step 1, having done step 2, clarify and create, this next step is for you to actually communicate. This is the 3rd step. Now, let me tell you a little short story here. So a couple of days ago, my mother-in-law's WhatsApp was hacked. And the hacker decided to ask money from all the contacts she's recently had a chat with, including me. But unfortunately, my mother-in-law, who is in her 60s, has a very unique communication style that 100% of the people that the hacker asked for money from knew almost immediately that she's not the one that sent the message. This is exactly what personal brand is. Notice personal brand. As I explained earlier on, it is the perception people have and the influence you've created in their minds all this while. So the influence you gain in people's minds over time is what personal brand is. Now, my mother-in-law does not have a logo, neither does she have a color palette. She does not have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube or maybe even 40,000 followers on Instagram or TikTok. But she has a well-recognized personal brand, even down to how she types. Did she sit down and do a strategy session in order to figure that out? Probably not. But over time, she stuck to a particular way of doing and writing such that when you get a message from her that doesn't look like how she's been talking, you immediately know that, oh no, this definitely is not something that this person has written. Personal brand is that consistent experience people have as they interact with you, which shapes your perception and influence. A lot of the time, you already have this. You may just not be aware of it, which is why I said this third stage is where you actually begin to work on communicating that. Now, all the things you intentionally do about how you are perceived and talked about is what personal branding is, all right? Once in a while, ask people who know you and may be close to you, who do you think I am? Their feedback will help you understand what perceptions you've been creating and how you can redesign that if that's not what you want. Some of the key actions you should be considering here is, number one, define your voice. Don't worry about finding it. You know, a lot of people say they want to find their voice. The thing is, you already have a voice. What you want to do is define it. Second, in this key action is for you to focus on how you say what you say, not just how it looks. Third is your story and message are your true colors. And the most important part is get consistent at communicating and publishing. Now, the fourth step is for you to commercialize. And this is where I want you to think about how you can start monetizing your brand even from the beginning. You don't need a large audience to begin thinking about the product or services you can offer. In my work with clients over the last 10 years, this stage is where people's fears and anxieties and worries show up the most. All the worries and anxieties they have about money become apparent here. Well, because money has a huge influence over many of us, including you, including me. And it's understandable. So the key actions you want to take here is think beyond time for money exchanges and devise a broader ecosystem of products and services that you can offer to people. Second thing you need to think about here as a key action is how can what you do be sequenced to lead to a deeper experience with you? And the third thing you want to do here, of course, because it is commercializing, is for you to get good at pitching, what some people call marketing. Being able to convert someone to your way of thinking is where it starts. If you can convert someone to how you think, to your perspective, you're already pitching. You just need to learn to pitch your product as well. So if you listen to me share all of this and you go, yes, I know what to do next. I have just marketed something to you, even when we did not exchange literal money. Anyway, if you need help with this step, you can use the link in the description to schedule a discovery session with me and we can sort it out on the call. Now, I have to be clear with you. I have nothing to sell you on the call, just a strategy. Number 5, which is the final step, now is for you to actually consolidate. And this 5th step is about you starting micro and going multi. So the way I like to say it is start micro, go multi. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I made when I started my first business back in 2006 was that when we don't know what stage our business is in, we tend to want to do what other big businesses we admire are doing. And so we get frustrated when we are not producing the kind of results we've seen them produce. This stage is where you begin to build out a tiny team that can take things forward when you're at your job or you are even about to pivot to something else. Now, it's totally fine if you want to go solo, but when you have limited time due to a job commitment or another full-time commitment, you have to leverage other people's time. Partner with someone else to get results you need. In my case, I partnered with a digital marketing professional. I am partnering with a video editor for this video. Yes, I know how to do some of these things. I can edit the videos myself, but that is not the best use of my time. If somebody else is better at it, why don't I just partner and collaborate with that person so that I can focus on what I do best and the person can also focus on what they do best? So even though it looks like I'm doing it solo, I'm actually doing it micro. This 5th stage is also the stage where you become what I have begun to call a micropreneur on the way to becoming a multipreneur. Structuring comes up here as well, but then this becomes a topic for another video which I've already made, where I talk about being a technician, manager, entrepreneur, who is a key person of influence in your business. Now, you can find that video here on my screen right now. And yes, no matter the stage you're at right now, I hope these 5 steps provide you with a roadmap and help you know where you need to be right now.